What's going on, guys? I'm Zach from the Lumios Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon. Today we'll be talking about more Pokemon that I think we could see in the upcoming games, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We've previously done two videos on this where we kind of broke down the staples. The first one we talked about the early game mods that we always see in a Pokemon game, like the regional bug, regional rodent, those kinds of things. And then the second one we talked about some of the later game ones like fossils and pseudo legendaries. So don't miss those videos. I'll have a link to them in the description below. And before we begin, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, as we've got some more videos planned on this topic, as well as just other general Pokemon things, and especially some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet things. Now, let's dive right in. So the first thing I think we could see is a Barcelona Rooster. Now, in my early game predictions video, I did talk about how the Rooster did have a chance at being the regional bird, because this bird is kind of an icon of Portugal. Portugal doesn't have a national animal, but it's almost seen as that. And it comes from this old legend of the Barcelona Rooster, which is basically this guy was wrongly accused of a crime and says to the judge who's feasting on a chicken, if I'm innocent, let that rooster come back to life and crow. And sure enough, it does. And that rooster is known as the Barcelona Rooster. It's a huge part of Spanish culture. GameFreak has actually expressed interest in making a Pokemon out of this. And now that we're in Spain and Portugal, I definitely think this is happening. I talked about in that video it could be the regional bird, and I even mentioned it could also even be the legendary Pokemon. But I would personally want it to just be in the game as a regular Pokemon, not the regional bird, not the legendary, just a Pokemon you find, and it's kind of a staple of the region. And I think that a great typing for this will be Fairy Fighting. Fairy obviously coming from the Barcelona Rooster's very vibrant colors and the fairy tale aspect of its story, and the fighting type coming from it being a rooster who, of course, will fight other roosters. You know, they're kind of known to be pretty aggressive to other animals of the same species and same sex. And for abilities, I think we could see Rivalry or Quick Feet. I know these aren't the best abilities. Quick Feet actually is really good. Rivalry isn't too exciting, but I think it would be really cool to see a fairy fighting rooster. That's a typing that hasn't been done before, and I think this will be a great place to do it. And next up, we have a Windmill Dragon. I guess this is kind of one of those things that, if you know, you know. But for those who don't know, I'll clue you in. There is an old story that is super important to Spanish culture and history. It's called Don Quixote. It's about this man who imagines himself to be a knight and will go on epic adventures, and one of the story's most iconic moments is when he fights a windmill, imagining it to be a dragon. Since the story's set in Spain and is so important to the Spanish culture, I feel like we absolutely must see a Windmill Dragon. I feel like this was almost even teased with the windmills that appeared in the trailer, but that's not good enough. I want to see it. I want to see a dragon-type windmill. I'm thinking that the typing could be Dragon Flying. I could see Airlock as an ability for it, but I also came up with a brand new ability for this Pokemon. I was thinking it could have an ability called Wind Power that would basically, when the Pokemon enters the field, set up a Tailwind. I think this would be a really nice trait for it to have and would definitely make it stand out from the other Dragon Flying types, because that's actually a pretty common typing among dragons, and it's not the best typing, so I think this would be something that could really solidify its place as its own dragon flying type. And next up, we have the bull. The bull is a national animal of Spain. It is super iconic to their culture. When you think Spain, you typically think of bullfighting or the running of the bulls. And so I definitely think we'll get some kind of bull Pokemon. I'm going to talk about this in some future videos, but I think it could be Taurus related. However, they have repeated some Pokemon without making it an evolution or a variant of a previous Pokemon. Like, for example, we had Crabrawler and Crabominable, who were crabs, but weren't variants or evolutions to Krabby or Kingler. So that could be the case here. And if that's the case, I could see it being a dark type, a fighting type, or a dark and fighting type, which I think would be really neat. And for an ability, I actually also came up with a new ability for this one too, and that is Seeing Red. So if you didn't know, Pokemon are actually coded into the game as certain colors. So, like, for example, Charizard is coded into the game, as a red Pokemon. I was thinking whenever a Pokemon that is coded as red is on the field, it would max the attack of this bull Pokemon. However, the catch is it could only attack that Pokemon, and maybe there would even be a bit of an accuracy drop for the Pokemon. So, like, for example, if I threw out my Bull Pokemon and I threw out my Charizard in a double battle, my Bull is only going to attack my Charizard. So, I think it could use some tweaking. I'm sure that some of you in the comments can really improve on this ability, but I think it would be a nice little nod to the Matadors with the red capes and the bulls and bullfighting. I definitely think that would be interesting to give this bull something to make it stand out, since it's so important to the Spanish culture. Next we have an Iberian pig. So the pig has only been done twice, and I feel like, and maybe it isn't the case in Japan, but here in America, a pig is a pretty common animal you think about. Like, you think cows, pigs, horses, those are pretty common animals. So I'd like to see more pigs, and specifically we have Grumpig and we have Imbor, which are both these pigs that stand on their hind legs. I'd like to see a traditional pig that's on all fours. I was thinking that this pig could be a ground type to reference their love of mud, and maybe have an ability like Gluttony, as pigs love to eat. Moving on, we have the Barbary macaque. I think that's how you say it. I'm actually really not sure. M-A-C-A-Q-E-U-E. You can see it on screen. This is a monkey that is found in Spain. I think they would have to do this because Spain is the only European country with monkeys, so I feel like you have to reference that. Furthermore, GameFreak likes to do monkeys. I believe the only region where GameFreak did not do some kind of monkey Pokemon was back in Kalos, and the region before that, they did 6 different monkey Pokemon with Pansear, Pansage, Panpour, and their evolutions. So I feel like if they can do it, they will, and they can definitely do it here. I really tried to do some research on these monkeys and think of something for a typing for it, but ultimately couldn't come with much. I came up with normal, because they are just monkeys, rocks, because they're found near the Gibraltar Rock, and water, because they are also found in Morocco, and so there's theories to that maybe they swam across the Mediterranean Sea to get here, so that would imply they're really great swimmers, and monkeys typically are good swimmers. And for an ability, I also came up with a new one for this one as well, and that is Coalition. You see, these monkeys really, really like to stick to packs of their own genders and form their own gender coalitions. And so I was thinking that something that could happen with these Pokemon is that they get a stat boost when they're battling alongside another Pokemon of the same gender. So kind of similar to Rivalry, but instead of battling against the Pokemon of the same gender, it's battling alongside. And there wouldn't be a penalty for battling alongside an opposite gender, just a benefit of battling alongside the same gender. Our last new Pokemon that I've kind of made up for this region would be the lion, or specifically a manticore. Lions are depicted on the Spanish coat of arms, so I feel like they're pretty important enough to the region, even though lions don't live in Spain, to do something with it. I love lions, and I think that the lion Pokemon we have are really cool. Pyroar and Solgaleo, and I guess you could argue Luxray as elements of lions. But I think that it would be neat to also reference Rome's time in Spain. The Roman Empire actually did cover Spain as well, and you could reference that by having a manticore, which of course is a kind of lion-scorpion hybrid from Roman mythology. Furthermore, Spain actually does have a lot of scorpions, so it could reference that as well. For this Pokemon, obviously the poison type would be on it. Maybe you could give it something else, maybe a bug type, maybe a dragon type, maybe a dark type. But I'm thinking for an ability, it could have Poison Touch or Intimidate. Now, before we end this video, I do want to point out that there are some Pokemon that I think will make it into the game that aren't tied to Spain directly. So if we look back at Galar, I'm going to use Galar as an example for this because Galar was the most recent region. This was obviously based off of Great Britain, and we saw some Indian elephants in it, we saw some Vikings and runes, which don't necessarily make you think of England, but they're there for a reason. The Viking stuff is in there, Berserker and Runerigus, because England was occupied by the Vikings for some time. Same reason for Phalanx. They were part of the Roman Empire for some time. Copperajah is there because Great Britain had actually occupied India. They colonized India at one point, and so they have an Indian elephant there referencing that. They even say in Copperajah's Dex entry that it's from somewhere else. So with Spain, I think we could see similar things, and to look at that and not give specific Pokemon from this, but just kind of talk about it. We see that they were once ruled by Muslim empires, and they were also once ruled by the Roman Empire. So any Muslim or Roman mythological creatures, I definitely think we could see from here. That's kind of what I referenced with that Manticore Pokemon. But I also think the most likely is to see some stuff from South America. Spain and Portugal both occupied pretty much Mexico and even Florida down the globe. They had all of South America covered. So anything from South America, I think it's fair game to see in this region. This could be things from jaguars, capybaras, sloths, llamas. There's all kinds of animals there, and I think that we can't rule those out. Well, there you have it. Those are some miscellaneous Pokemon I think we could see in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know which of these Pokemon, if any, would be on your teams. I know I absolutely love the idea of a bull Pokemon. That would 100% be on my team. I love Tauros. I'm sure I'd love this one. And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. We've got tons of more videos planned, especially on Pokemon that could be in Scarlet and Violet. We'll be doing regional variants next. And be sure to check out our past few videos where we've covered some Pokemon Scarlet and Violet staple Pokemon that are traditionally seen, like regional bug and fossil Pokemon, that stuff. Link to that will be in the description. You can also go on the channel and go to playlists and see Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokemon predictions. You can find those videos there as well. Until next time, I will see all of you later.